What is going on, my broskies? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And in today's video, I'm showing you guys my own personal teams for the upcoming treasure map versus Sabo. If you guys haven't checked out my previous video where I went through some more accessible teams that are going to help out a lot more players out there, I definitely advise going ahead and checking that video out. I go through Sabo and all the information regarding this treasure map in that previous video, so check it out if you haven't done so already. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and just quickly jump into my teams. So the first boss that we're going to have a look at, of course, is going to be the Battle Rush bosses, first of which being Chopper, who is a quick boss, and you just get cooldown just for all units here, which is pretty stock standard for the first of the Battle Rush bosses. You get a really nasty orb change of Empty, Block, and Bomb, 8 turns of attack down, and then there is a full immunity buff, and he does have a 30 hit combo barrier for 3 turns. So that's why we're going ahead and using the free-to-play Odin. His special will remove that barrier for us, which is good. And the way that this team is working is that we're not actually removing the attack down or changing out slots per se, for the purpose of doing normal damage. We're going to be using the special ability of Big Mom, which does really big damage towards the enemy, and we can actually go ahead and use Halloween Koala to give us really good health recovery, so that Big Mom does way more damage towards the Chopper fight. And we also have Basil Hawkins here, who can help us wave clear the first couple of stages, which is pretty great, but you know, not really too complex of a team. This is mainly focused on clearing relatively quickly and getting some additional drops along the way. So the second Battle Rush boss is versus Shanks, and he is a Dex boss, and for this fight there is cooldown for fighters, strikers, and powerhouse characters, and there is the preemptive attack of getting unfavorable slots, 5 turns of special bind, 5 turns of % damage reduction, and a 5 turn of damage threshold, and there is a full immunity buff, so you can't really apply a conditional boost against the enemy. But X-Drake's going to be great here because we have his super type effects, which allow us to wave clear the first 2 stages. We can then use the special ability of X-Drake to get a full board of matching slots via the Akainu support, which is dope. Drake gives us a really good attack boost in Chain Boundary, and then we have all of the Kaido Pirates batch of the 8th anniversary units. So we have the Jack, which gets rid of Threshold, I believe. We have the Special Bind removed via King, and we have the Rainbow Shield removed via Queen. And then we've also got the Kuzan. Kuzan is basically here because he's a relatively high point booster, and that's legit the only reason why he's here. Definitely replaceable for sure, but you know, again, pretty straightforward, just bringing one unit to deal with each of these debuffs in its entirety, and this team actually has a pretty serious point boost as well. Moving on to the third Battle Rush boss is we have this Luffy fight. So Luffy is interesting because Luffy is either Psy or Int. He can become either one of those 2 colors, despite the fact that in the corner there it does mention that he's a Dex boss. Don't let that trip you up. You do need to bring characters that are Psy or Int to have type advantage, but the characters that actually receive the cooldowns are not only Psy and Int characters, but also strength units, and there is 1 turn of special reverse on the final stage, 5 turns of paralysis, 5 turns of defense up, and 5 turns of resilience, and there is a delay immunity, so you can apply certain conditional boosts against the enemy. So the way that we're getting around most of the debuffs is via the free-to-play Katakuri, because he will resist the special reverse, he'll reduce cooldown of powerhouse and fighter characters, he'll get rid of the enemy increase defense, get rid of the paralysis and all of that. Katakuri is a really good unit for this fight. If you have him, I would suggest using him here. But then also, to get around the resilience, we have a couple of different ways. We have Smoothie and Oven, which I'm planning to switch into the Psy version, using their special on the final stage to shuffle our slots, give us a higher chance at matching slots, give us an orb boosting effect. And then we have Reiju, which can give us a conditional boost. We have the Jinbei, which can provide a color affinity boost. And then Zorojiro is here just to provide some speed to clear the first 2 stages much faster. And that's pretty much how I'm planning to get around Luffy. Obviously, it's not a really high damage potential team because, you know, Jinbei isn't the best captain out there, but of course this team is built to be used by the brand newly released Marco and Big Mom batch, so if you have those characters it does make this fight a lot easier, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do with the units that you got, so that's what we're doing for this team versus Luffy. And now we get to have a look at the last of the Battle Rush bosses versus Hancock, Nami, and Robin. The special cooldown is on this stage for Fighter, Free Spirit, and Slasher characters. And on the final boss stage, there's 8 turns of despair to both captains. There's going to be 4 turns of special bind and 4 turns of % damage reduction. And for 2 turns, all of your type slots are going to be counted as unfavorable, and they also have a delay immunity, so you can apply certain conditional boosts against them. But the way that we're getting around this is that the switch effect of Frankie will actually get rid of the despair for us, which is pretty great. And the special bind and the rainbow shield damage reduction are removed by the 2 rare recruits, being Sanji and Zoro. But also Robin is a pretty nice addition to the team that can also help out. She's just a relatively high point booster, so I decided to chuck her in here. And then in terms of getting good slots, because the type slots are counted as badly matching, we have the Bon Clay, whose special ability can give us a full board of recovery slots, and with his crewmate effect will treat them as beneficial. So that gives us a really nice way to get some matching slots for our crew for this fight. And now we get to talk about the final boss versus Koala. We will talk about the Intrusion boss in just a moment, but for this fight, Strength, Dex, and Int characters are the units you want to be bringing to get their cooldowns reduced. Now, there is a mini-boss stage. It's unclear at this time as to what kind of mini-boss we have to deal with. But for this fight, we get block slots, they're locked, there's defense down immunity, and there's 1 turn of nullified damage. So my team is planning to just stall 1 turn, then use Luffy on the following turn to get a full board of tandem slots, get an orb boost to our free spirit and fighter characters. So at least, Ace, Yamato, and the 2 captains of the waifu characters should be able to clear Battle 2. And then Battle 3, we get the attack down, we get the paralysis. So we have obviously 2 waifu specials, so we can use 1 on stage 2, 1 on stage 3. And then we've also got Kaido, who will enable us to get a full board of Wano slots via the Akainu support, which is very great. And then Ace and Yamato, of course, providing phenomenal damage via their special ability. Ideally using their special first, using a switch and special, because they do have defense down immunity, which means the switch effect will apply the ignite status, meaning that we can get the conditional boost from them. In terms of damage potential, I think this is going to be relatively okay throughout the entire duration of the treasure map. And now we get to the Intrusion boss versus Sabo. This is going to be a tough one. There's a lot of different gimmicks here. But we have the Battle 1, which is going to provide a Free Spirit, Striker, and Powerhouse character special charge time, which is great. So building a team with those classes in mind will be very, very good. And Battle 2, unclear as to what color or how much HP Battle 2 has right now, but there's 10 turns of Despair, but it's only to your top right character, which is interesting. There's also going to be a Crewmate special reverse for 1 turn, so your captains are unaffected by that special reverse. There is normal attacks only, and a defense down immunity. So for this fight, once again, we're going to be using Luffy special because he does resist the despair for our crew, as well as providing matching slots and locking them and stuff, which is great. But also the fact that the crewmates are going to be special reversed, so the captains are unaffected by that. So we can use one of the specials of our waifus to reduce the cooldowns of our characters, which then in turn allows us to activate the Luffy special ability. And then we've also got Battle 3, where we get 8 turns of bind to our middle row, and then there is also a full board of strength slots given to us, and they are treated as badly matching for 1 turn. So obviously works very well with Kaido, who can provide us with the Wano slots in turn. And we have the Ace and Yamato, which we can use their switch effect to provide the conditional boost, as well as giving us the attack boost. And their boosts actually last for multiple turns, which is pretty great. So even on the revive, we'll be able to get the boost once again. So speaking of the revive, he will revive with full HP, and he does 80,000 damage to our crew. Through some damage calculations that we've seen so far, it does look like if you do have double waifus with some pretty good stat units, you should be able to tank the hit naturally, just due to the overhealing that will be occurring when you activate their specials and through their captain abilities. So I'm not really too worried about that. And in terms of the barrier that will happen for 50 million HP barrier, very, very annoying. Planning just to use the barrier penetration of the 2 waifus to get the win, pretty much. Nothing really too crazy. Hopefully it is enough, but also we can use the ulti special on the first turn of Battle 3, so that when he revives, we can actually get a color affinity boost to our Striker and Powerhouse units. So just getting another turn of damage is going to be great. You do see we have Paraspero attached to Kaido, so when we do use him on the first turn, our slots will be locked, so we can keep the Wano slots for multiple turns. So that's our plan moving forward to take down Sabo. It should be okay with a fully max boosted team, but we'll see how things progress throughout the treasure map. So with all of that being said, that is going to wrap up this video today. Thank you so much for watching, and if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.